One of my favorite subjects is UFOs. And if you're a fan of Walk Talk Vent, the show, you know that half the time I believe that they are aliens, and the other half of the time I believe they're just US military drones or vehicles that we just haven't been privy to yet, right? So today I'm watching one of my favorite YouTube channels of all time. It's Redacted. I know a handful of my viewers love Redacted as well. Nathan and Clayton Morris were speaking with Eric Burleson, he's a US congressman, about this metal sphere that's been in the news a lot over the past week and a half. Or instead of the news, maybe I should say it's been across YouTube for the past couple of weeks like crazy. And I've been avoiding it because I always thought it was just something that people had seen. I didn't know that Jose Restrepo in Buga, Colombia, was actually playing around with a metal detector. He looks up, right, and he sees this metal sphere up in the sky. And this thing is going sideways and up and down, and it's flying in a way that he's never seen anything like it before. But anyway, this thing slowly but surely hit a power line and then literally landed at Jose Restrepo's feet. So Clayton and Natalie were asking Representative Burleson what he thought of this sphere, because apparently this sphere has made its way to Mexico, where Dr. Stephen Greer and his team have been investigating it. And that's when something weird happened with the video. I started reading the comment section, and people were saying, hey Clayton, hey Natalie, your show's getting a little bit old because it keeps showing these people that are obviously frauds. And when they were talking about the frauds, they were specifically talking about Dr. Stephen Greer. Now, I've told you guys before that when it comes to like Representative Tim Burchett, I feel like there's a lot of theater involved in this. And all of a sudden you have a lot of ex-military people saying, hey, I know for a fact that there's aliens out there. And we know for a fact as people that our government lies to us left and right. And what was really fascinating about the comments is that once upon a time, if you put up a video about UFOs, everybody was begging the country to let us know the obvious truth. And to the people that wanted it to be the obvious truth, the UFO fans wanted to know that the UFOs were here and amongst us, or that we at least knew about them, right? We can all agree on that. But now the sentiment has changed. And I promise you, it's not just on this video. I've watched other UFO channels where people are getting tired of the disclosure that never comes. They're getting tired of these vehicles that look really like they're man-made. And when you look at this sphere, the reason we doubt if it's man-made is because we're not used to seeing a metal ball fly, right? But at the same time, when you look at the sphere close, it apparently has some etched carvings on it. Apparently they were able to scrape the metal in a way where they can actually do some carbon dating and some tests on it. And what they really want to find out is, did this metal originate from this world here, Earth, right? Or is it actually from somewhere else? So today I wanted to take the conversation in a fun way. Instead of me saying this is obviously American, this is obviously a scam, this is theater to get us look over here, to look over here on the left while they're doing something over here on the right. Instead of that, let's have fun and let's pretend like this thing is actually from another world. So I started thinking, if there was an alien race that wanted to see what was going on in America, they would need to send something that could actually survive. I think a metal sphere could actually survive a lot better than a robot with internal parts, and a heck of a lot better than a being that has to eat, sleep, and poop, right? Jesse, you don't know if aliens have to poop. Well, my goodness, if they don't poop, where does everything they consume go? Jesse, we don't know if they consume anything. My God, if they don't eat or crap or have sex, what's the point of exploration? But anyway, imagine if that orb actually is studying us. They've got this orb in Mexico, and according to Dr. Stephen Greer and his team, some fake police officers there in Mexico actually tried stealing this. Kind of makes you laugh, because if this actually is some sort of reconnaissance machine from another world, from an alien race, isn't it crazy to think that Mexican criminals almost got their hands on it? Now Mala, Micah, Sean, Terry the Terrify, in the movies, this thing always looks like a marble or an object that's not really doing anything, right? And then all of a sudden, when you least expect it, it lights up and it expands and something magical happens. By the way, there might be one thing that already happened that was kind of magical. Apparently, when they first weighed this object, it weighed 2-point-something kilograms. And apparently, some way, somehow, it tripled its weight. I don't know of anything on the planet other than maybe a pufferfish that can really expand its size, let alone its weight, right? And I don't think the pufferfish is going to gain much by inflating with air. Or do they inflate with water? See, Jesse, you sound stupid. I know, because this is where you get to have fun with it. Guys, if this actually is some sort of alien recon vehicle, how magical and neat is that? Also, we're used to thinking that beings are going to be like our size or bigger. Wouldn't it be crazy if that was literally a world inside that ball? Wouldn't it be neat if it was one of those things where it looks like it's the size of a basketball, but if you were on the inside of it, it would be the size of a giant aircraft carrier? Wouldn't that be crazy? I keep hearing stories about that. You guys have heard about that, right? Where they look at this UFO and it looks like it's, 10 feet wide by 10 feet across, right? Or side to side. But then when you open the hatch and go in, it's the size of a football field. Is that bullshit that they're feeding us? Or is that possible in this universe that we live in? And if these aliens are literally the size of little toy soldiers, then once again, inside that ball, for all you know, there could be dozens and dozens of tiny little alien creatures. Now, apparently on the outside of the ball, it's got some etchings. And apparently on the grooves, apparently there's some grooves in it, it has what looks like could be fiber optics. So it looks like its job is to actually record something. I don't know if it's a physical recording, but I'm guessing its job is to actually take maybe samples. You always hear how we have these rovers on Mars and other places, and their job is just to take data every day and transmit it back here. Wouldn't that be crazy if this was just some sort of rover from another world? To the congressman's credit, he said he was skeptical. He's from Missouri, which is famously known as the Show Me State. And I'll be honest, I think a lot of us that wanted aliens to be real, I think we've gotten to the point where we're just like people from Missouri. You gotta show us. We're tired of seeing grainy film footage, right? And if this thing actually can fly, I saw some people in the comments that were saying, hey, we do have circular drones now. We do have round drones. I don't know if that's true or not. If you guys know if that's true, let me know. I've seen toys that when they spin, they look like a circle, but this thing actually looks like a metal basketball. How the hell do you get that thing to fly when it doesn't look like it has any exhaust on it? That is kind of perplexing. Now, whenever there's cameras involved, there can be tricks of the camera. Some people brought up the idea that maybe it flew sideways because maybe it was actually tethered by an actual plane or, drone from above. So again, I think we can all agree that there's hoaxers out there that can find a way to make fake shit look real. But this thing fell to the ground, so we're going to know some answers. So here's my first question to you, Venters. What percentage would you give that this is actually man-made versus potentially extraterrestrial? Let me know that down below, and if you don't mind, hit subscribe and hit the thumbs up button. Let's get to a couple of these questions. And here's another question I'd like to ask you. 10, 15 years ago, Dr. Stephen Greer comes on the TV or the video. We all watch with anticipation, waiting for his next words because he's so fun to listen to. But after a while, you start to hear that he's kind of an entrepreneur. He really cares more about money than anything else. He seems to have an ego the size of Texas. And a lot of times you'll even hear, if you look it up, that he's had people go out on UFO hunts with him. And any little random light in the sky, he makes it sound like he and the team summoned a UFO. And apparently a lot of people think he's a scam artist. Do you fall in that category too, where you used to think highly of Dr. Stephen Greer, and now you think he's just kind of a BSer, a snake oil salesman, a charlatan? If so, you're not alone. Please let us know your thoughts down below. At Big Chief 454 says, fake alien invasion, anyone? See, Big Chief, you were probably like me 10, 15 years ago. You were like, please let this be real. Please let the government tell us all these secrets. Please tell us the aliens are out there and they're going to save us from ourselves. But reality tells me it's all just theater. And that fake alien invasion, even if it were real, so many of us are expecting it to be fake. It's going to be really interesting to see how that all turns out. God, I haven't been talking about aliens for a while. What's that called? Project Bluebeam. So they're going to use holograms to make it look like there's a real alien invasion. And then to make it even more real, they're going to actually have real weapons take out some people in this country. So it actually looks like, holy shit, we need to do something. It's going to cost you a lot of money for protection. At Jody Butterworth 6564 says, and listen to this comment, because this really kind of gives you an idea of how challenging it is to be a daily YouTuber, because Redacted comes on daily. Jody Butterworth says, when you cover this stuff, it puts me off on your channel, and it makes me suspicious of other things you report. I used to take Redacted seriously, but now since you keep covering obviously made up rubbish, I don't. Please stop. Now imagine this, because there's a lot of people, myself included, that really like Redacted. The problem is, whenever you try to put a real top-notch show on multiple times a day, pretty soon people realize that, hey, you're putting up a couple of the people that we want to hear from, but you're also putting up these people that we don't even trust anymore, a la Dr. Stephen Greer. So one day, Clayton is talking about how these weapons are obviously American-made weapons, right, from our military. And then the next day, he's talking about aliens from, Buga, Colombia. And for some people, they just really want some consistency. And they feel, hey, if we find out one person is a con man, we don't want to see him anymore. Well, that's easier said than done if you're a daily YouTube channel. If nobody's doing anything of note except Dr. Stephen Greer, by golly, you're going to get Dr. Stephen Greer for this video. At Elvis_Pond5 says, we are not analyzing it. It is analyzing us. Elvis, your comment made me want to talk about this side of the argument. If this thing is real, it reminds me of War of the Worlds. In War of the Worlds, they had that eyeball-looking thing that would come out to find people, to suck them up and eliminate them, whatever the hell it did. I haven't watched that movie in so long. But I liked War of the Worlds with Tom Cruise. I thought that was a hell of a flick. Why wouldn't an alien race send some sort of probe to see what we were about? And here's the crazy thing. if that alien probe is analyzing us, and when humans are touching it, looking into it, it's looking right back into the human being, is it giving them a report of, hey, green light, all clear, go attack? Because if it is, my goodness, that's kind of scary to think about. But why couldn't that be an option? If it's real, that could be just their warning flag before they come to take over the world. At Jeff Cousineau says, I don't trust Dr. Greer. He's been caught lying numerous times. You know, if you lie one time, I can probably forgive you. But if you lie regularly, I'm going to get to the point where I don't listen to any words that come out of your mouth. And so Clayton and Natalie, even though I know you'll never hear my words, based on the comments I heard, I think everybody that does alien videos needs to ditch Dr. Stephen Greer. The guy's just not trusted anymore. I don't even trust Ross Coulthard anymore. I really don't. I don't trust any of them. Have you noticed every single one of them ends up constantly telling you that there's something big right around the corner? And then before you know it, that something big is them writing a book and they want you to buy it. I mean, if the aliens were really going to come and they were right around the corner and it's going to change everything, why would writing a best-selling book be so important to you? Oh, that's right, it's money. It's money. Shays Burvick says, what is this distracting us from should be our first question. Okay, what is this distracting us from? That should be our first question. Shays, here's the crazy thing. You see this metal sphere that's able to fly? That should be on every news channel 24/7. And we should all be biting our fingers, right? Biting our fingernails in anticipation of what the tests they run on the sphere is going to be, right? What the answers are. But you're right. It's obviously just theater to get us to look the other way. From what? That is the question. So you're right, Chase. At Valerie Luca says, don't panic. This is 100% staged. See, we're getting to the point where people aren't even thinking aliens anymore. They're just thinking our government is bullshitting us again. And it's because every time we look up, our government is bullshitting us. Shy ECJJ says, man-made. CIA probably wants their spherical drone back. Wouldn't that be funny if you found out the fake police in Mexico was just the CIA trying to get their drone back? Malcolm James Turner says it flies sideways because it's being suspended by a drone out of the camera's view. What a load of nonsense. If this thing was real, it would be the most valuable object in the history of the world. And it wouldn't be on a TV show and promoted on YouTube. You would never hear about it because it would already be in the hands of the US military. That's another great comment. Every day that you can walk, it helps you live a little bit longer. And if the aliens ever do visit us, you at least want to live long enough to see it before they eat us. Hopefully they don't eat us, but hopefully you do live a long time. Make sure you go on your daily walk, drink your water, avoid your sugar, and come back again tomorrow. We'll talk about another fun subject. Have a good night.